Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is the Crime Time Tales news, and today we are going to look into the harrowing case of Grace Millane. Grace Millane was a 22-year-old British tourist who travelled to New Zealand in November 2018. Unfortunately, during her trip, she was murdered by a man named Jesse Kempson. On December 1st, 2018, Millane was last seen alive entering a hotel room with Kempson, whom she had met through a dating app called Tinder. Her family reported her missing on December 5th, and the police began an investigation. Kempson was identified as a suspect early on the investigation, and he was later arrested and charged with Millane's murder. During Kempson's trial, the prosecution presented evidence that Kempson had strangled Millane to death during the date in his apartment. Kempson tried to argue that her death was accidental, but the jury ultimately found him guilty of murder in November 2019. The case received widespread attention in New Zealand and around the world, with many people expressing shock and sadness over Millane's death. It also sparked important conversation about online dating safety and the dangers that women can face when traveling alone. In memory of Millane, her family established Grace Gives Charity, which worked to support causes that were important to her. The Grace Millane murder case was a high publicized trial in New Zealand, and it was closely followed by the media outlets around the world. The case was notable not only because of the brutality of the crime, but also because it raised important questions about the safety of online dating and vulnerability of young women who travel alone. Throughout the trial, the court had evidence that Kempson had searched online for methods of disposing a body and taking intimate photos of Millane's corpse after her death. This evidence was used to support prosecution argument that Kempson had intentionally killed Millane and had attempted to cover up his crime. During the trial, the defense team argued that Kempson had accidentally killed Millane during consensual rough sex, but the jury ultimately rejected the argument and found Kempson guilty of murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum known parole period of 17 years. Following the verdict, Millane's family spoke out about their grief and hopes that this death would serve a warning to others about the dangers of online dating. They also established that Grace Gives Charity, which supports organizations and causes that were important to Millane, including animal welfare and the environment. The Grace Millane case had had lasting impact on public discourse around online dating safety, and it spurred calls for increased awareness and education about the risk that women face when meeting strangers through dating apps. Alright, thank you very much for listening, guys. Thank you for staying with us. And what do you think the problem is in this case? Do you think it's social media? Do you think it's Tinder? Or do you think just people have to be very careful with these apps and dating individuals that are strange to you that you don't know? Tell us what you think in the comments. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We like to keep our content short and sweet. Thank you very much. Look after one another, and we'll see you soon.